it's Presley at ActOutGames.com here, and today we are going to be talking about Girls Against Girls by Bonnie Burton, who's also going to be at Denver Comic Con. Okay, so Bonnie Burton's going to be at Comic-Con, and we looked at her page, and she looked pretty cool, and we were excited to meet her. And then you figured out she wrote this book, Girls Against Girls, which is girls reacting toward, interacting in negative ways towards each other and stuff like that. And I obviously haven't experienced this yet, so hopefully Mommy can tell me a little bit about it. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the book.
So, did you like the book?
Yes, I definitely did like the book, and I would recommend that you read it. It's so good that I knocked it out in 2 days, and normally takes me a long time to read a book, even if I'm really into that book. But since it was a really good book, I could read it pretty fast.
And is there a situation that came up in the book that you want to discuss specifically?
Not really. There's nothing that stood out to me because none of this has really happened.
Right, so Presley homeschools, and so we don't really have a lot of the same issues that public school kids have.
Yeah.
Right? You haven't really experienced much bullying at school or anything.
No.
No.
Sometimes I annoy people with my fake British accent, but
yes,
that's all.
I'm sure you do. Do they make fun of you about it?
No.
No.
Once someone said, like, "Stop sounding like the people from Narnia." Yeah. That's the most I've gotten, actually.
So I thought we'd talk about a couple of situations that from my time in school, and see what you think about them. Okay. So the first one that I was going to talk to you about is around 8th grade. Seemed to be kind of the first wave of bullying stuff, and I may have told you this story before, but I don't know. I was in class, and I was talking about a girl, let's say her name's Michelle, right? And to another classmate. And there happened to be a girl in my class named Michelle, who I wasn't friends with or anything. And so I guess she thought I was talking about her, but I really wasn't. And so after class, she came and threw me up against the lockers and was, yelling at me and calling me all kinds of names and everything. And it was very scary for me because I was real little and puny.
And you didn't know this person?
No, I mean, I knew what her name was because she was in my class, but I didn't know her personally. But I guess she thought I was talking about her.
Yeah.
Negatively. And
in the book, it says a little bit about, like, people that don't have too much self-esteem might hear their names even if they're not being spoken. Like, if they're hearing people talking, and they might hear their name because they don't have low self-esteem and they suspect that people will be talking about them. Right. And so they might hear their name because their brain thinks that they'll hear their name. And even though their name could be Anna, and they could be talking about bananas. Right. She would think that they were talking about her name.
Right. She just assumed that I was talking about her when I wasn't. And so that was really scary. And so I had some friends that were bigger than me, and they were kind of my slack for a while because I was really scared about that situation. And then another one that happened in 8th grade, too, is that I had a friend who went to a party, and she was abused. And when she went back to school, everybody was talking about it, and they all made fun of her, even though she was the victim in the situation. And at the time, I didn't really even think about that I should be feeling sorry for her. I just was kind of maybe part of the group mentality, right? And she was a friend of mine, so I wasn't mean to her and made fun of her or anything. But in my head, I didn't think about the fact that she was the victim. And so nobody should be making fun of her because that further victimizes her, right? So I think when you're that age, you're just not really thinking. As an adult, it's very clear. I see it. So do you have any thoughts about that?
I like listening to the story.
You like listening to the story. So if you in a situation like that, you just need to think for yourself, right? And not just take what everybody's saying and go along with it, right? If I had taken a second to just think about the situation and how she probably felt, right, then I probably would have maybe spoken up against people that were making fun of her. I don't think I did that. So I kind of feel bad about that as an adult. And then the other situation that we were thinking about talking, Daddy and I talked about this last night, is when I was in this is in high school now. In the town that I grew up in Texas, from little girl you want to be on the drill team in high school. It's like what everybody wants to do, and it seems silly, but it's true. That's what everybody wants to do. So when I got to high school, I did get on the drill team, and they had some rules about drill team. A couple of them. We had to have yearly body fat, and we had to have weekly weigh-ins to make sure that you were a certain weight. And if you weren't a certain weight, then you had to sit in the stands at halftime and not be able to perform. And so it didn't affect me because I was very small, like I said, right? So I always made weight. It wasn't an issue for me, but it was for a lot of other girls. And it created lots of, body issues and stress. Because if they were sitting in the stands, then I'm sure they thought that everybody was looking at them and thinking that they were overweight. And that's why they weren't out there performing. So I didn't think at the time to even question that either. That was just the way it was, and it didn't really affect me. And
because I question a lot of these things because I never experienced them, and I'm like, that's really weird.
It is really weird, and I doubt that in this day and age that they can get away with that, right? I'm sure that has been changed, but there's definitely some weight shaming in that, right, that went on, and I'm sure that people must have made fun of the people who didn't perform because they were over their weight, and so it really kind of seems like a mean policy to have.
Yeah.
And created some eating disorder issues in some of the girls because they were so paranoid about their weight and stuff.
Yeah. The book also talks a lot about like gossiping and how like people's reputation can be ruined just like that. Like one person might have said something by accident that might have been hurtful to the other person. That other person tells one of their close friends by accident. That close friend tells a bunch of their close friends, those close friends tell their close friends, and by the end of the day, everyone knows about it and views the first person as a jerk. Right.
And that's kind of the group mentality I was talking about. So you just need to kind of look at the situation and maybe question it. And,
and it says the easiest way to stop gossip is just not to spread it. It's just, if you hear it, don't say anything about it, don't spread it.
Right, because it could be totally wrong.
Yeah. It could just be something that somebody overheard, and it probably changes from person to person, like a giant game of telephone.
Right, exactly. So, so try not to gossip. It's hard because girls get together and gossip.
It might be like telephone in a way that it gets to this one person who changes it a whole bunch to make this one person sound really bad, and then they spread it. Because in telephone, normally it goes on, but sometimes there's this one person who just changes it completely. So maybe that happens in the gossiping.
Yeah, they might not like the person, so they add in a little.
Yeah, they add in a lot more bad stuff about them. So the book also talks less about people that you don't know doing these things, and more about your friends that are spreading gossip. And I think it could be because because first your friends really know how to push your buttons, and they know they know your weak points and stuff. But also if maybe somebody else started the gossip, but your friends kept spreading it, it could have been because it's probably people might like to hear stuff about people that they know, and I'm pretty sure lots of people like hearing secrets. So it's just like hearing a secret that your friend didn't tell you.
Right. So there are definitely cliques in high school, right? And within your own clique, most of the arguments that I remember from high school were within our friend group, right? The drama was, one friend arguing with another friend, female, a lot of times, right? And they would the book talked a little bit about, gossiping and trying to steal your boyfriend and stuff like that. So within your own clique, sometimes that's where most of the drama comes, which is sad because they're your friends, right? And then sometimes you end up losing a friend, and you have to step away from them, which the book talked about a little bit, because
you've tried everything to kind of resolve the problem and you can't. So it's just healthy to maybe step away from that friend.
Yeah.
And you haven't had that situation yet.
Well, I've had a situation where I had to step away from a friend.
You have had a situation where you had to step away from a friend.
Should I talk about that?
Yes, we're not going to mention names. But
no, of course not.
Okay, or specific incidents, but yes.
I had to step away from a friend once because the friend he decided that he wanted to put thumbtacks into Nerf bullets and shoot rabbits. And I'm like, nope. So I told, it was actually a couple of my friends that live pretty close to me. So we were in one of our friends' yards, and in the other yard next to them, which I didn't know any of the people, there was a rabbit. So I had this plan that I would try and I would help them by scaring away the rabbit, and then I would go and tell the parents. So that's what I did, and then they got mad at me for that, but I just walked home and I knew I saved a bunch of rabbits' lives, probably, or at least saved them from getting terribly injured.
Right, so you knew that was the right thing to do.
Yes.
And you were really upset about it, but it was the right thing to do, so we were really proud of you because you didn't just go along with the group because there were like 3 other people that were going to do it, right? Yeah. And you said, no, that's wrong.
I think there were 2 other people, I'm not sure.
Right, well, there were 3 boys and you.
Yeah.
Right, and you weren't intimidated by that, and you knew that it wasn't right to hurt the bunny.
Yes. I know. It's kind of funny to say that a jiu-jitsu yellow belt that's been training jiu-jitsu for about 3 years now won't let people hurt a rabbit.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't want them to
I don't want them to hurt anything.
Right.
So I stopped them from doing it, and it worked, I think.
Yeah.
They got in trouble, and the Nerf bullets were checked. And at first I thought they were just kind of having fun, pretending to shoot the rabbit with like Nerf bullets. But then when they were loading the guns, I saw that they took off the cap and shoved in a thumbtack, and I'm like, okay, this is terribly wrong. I need to fix this.
Good job. So we really liked this book because it opened up a conversation about this issue. We haven't really run into it much, but and maybe when you get older.
And also in the book, there's ways to stop these things. So there's a chapter about the thing, and then there's like a part about the thing at the end of the chapter. It's how to stop these things. Like gossiping was not to spread the gossip, and when people are like gossiping or giving the silent treatment and stuff, well, the silent treatment is best just to talk to them, to try and talk to them, no matter how long they've been staying silent to you. And if they just keep being silent, then you could just break off your friendship and all ties with them because they're not talking to you. So it's quite obvious that they don't want you around them. And then there's that's one of the things that I don't remember, but it was not to freak out, and it was just to stay calm and respond. It's like respond, don't react, I think it was. So don't react all crazy, like, don't you dare say that about me. But just, like, you could calmly walk away, or you could say something calmly, and then just leave.
Right. So there's lots of resources at the end of the book that you guys can check out.
So I really like this book, and there'll be a link in the doobly-doo as to where you can get it, and I'm super duper excited to meet Bonnie at VidCon at Comic-Con next weekend. I'm really, really excited. I'm going to meet a lot of people at VidCon, so that would be not VidCon, at Comic-Con.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm super duper excited.
Okay, great.
So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!
Bye, guys.
It's time to press the subscribe button. Subscribe button. Subscribe button. Subscribe. Bye 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 bye.